Hi there, students. So for this particular video lesson, we'll have the first lesson in grade 8 mathematics, quarter 1, week 1, which is the common monomial factor. So yung factoring polynomials po, marami siyang types. So for the first week, we'll have three different types of factoring, while on the second week, we have two types of factoring. So let's start. So let's have the lesson objectives. First, we will review GCF. So when we say GCF, it is greatest common factor. Next, we will also define factoring. And of course, factor polynomials with common monomial factor. So before we start with our main discussion, let's have a short activity. So for this activity, we will find the GCF. Again, when we say GCF, it is the greatest common factor. Let's have number 1. 4, 8, and 12. So para kunin yung greatest common factor nila is ililist down lang natin yung mga factors ng mga numbers na to. For example, we have 4. Okay. So ang factors ng 4 ay 1, 2, and the number itself, 4. Next, for 8, we have 1, 2, 4, and 8. Last one, we have 12. Factors are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. Okay. So, ang factors na kinukuha natin na ito is yung pwede nating i-divide yung number na yon ng walang remainder. Okay. So, as you can see, nakalist down na yung mga factors ng 4, 8, 12. So, kukunin lang natin yung pinakamataas na common sa tatlong number na ito. For example, if the highest number is 12, wala namang 12 dun sa 8 and 4, 12 is not considered as the greatest common factor. So, ang greatest common factor nila is 4. So, 4, 4, and 4. Therefore, the greatest common factor of 4, 8, and 12 is 4. Ayan. Next, for number 2, we have 6, 15, and 27. So again, using the same steps, list down the factors of 6, 15, and 27. So sa 6 muna tayo, we have 1. Of course, lagi na una yung 1 para hindi tayo nalilito. And then, 2, 3, and 6. So, ang tip na maibibigay ko po sa inyo kapag naglilista tayo ng mga factors, make sure mag-start tayo sa pinaka mababa. Yun yung 1. Or, syempre, lahat naman ng numbers natin, ang pinaka minimum factor na meron siya is 1. So, we have to start with 1. And then, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. Kung ano man yung number na yon. And then, we have 15. We have 1, 3, 5, and 15. So, kapag ang number natin nag-end siya sa 0 and 5, automatically, divisible siya sa 5. So, meron siyang factor na 5. Okay? Let's have 27. So, ang 27, 1, 3, 9, and 27. So, based sa mga nakalistang factors ng tatlong number na yan, ano yung greatest common factor nila? Is it 1? No. Is it 2? No. Bakit hindi 2? Kasi 15 and 27 are odd numbers and 2 is an even number. So the greatest common factor of 6, 15, and 27 is 3. Ayan. Sulat natin dito, the GCF is 3. So let's have the third example. We have 3, 14, and 25. Using the same process, of course, list down the factors of 3, 14, and 25. So sa 3, since 3 is a prime number, so ang factors lang ng 3 is 1 in itself. For 14, we have 1, 2, 7, and 14. While 25, we have 1, 5, and 25. So, kung titignan natin yung mga factors ng 3, 14, and 25, ang greatest common factor lang nila is 1. Okay? Okay. So, may mga set of numbers na ang greatest common factor lang talaga nila is 1. Like, for example, this one. So, 1 lang ang GCF nila. So, we'll write GCF 1. So, I hope it's clear. So, for our next example, we have monomial. So, what is monomial? A monomial is a polynomial with one term. So, the given are 12x cubed y squared, 18x squared y cubed, and 30xy squared. So, ang unang gagawin natin dito is to get the greatest common monomial factor of the numerical coefficients. So, yung mga numerical coefficients niya, 12, 18, and 30. So, ang greatest common monomial factor nila is 6. Okay? And then, punta tayo dun sa variable x. So, ito, x cubed. Ito, x squared. And then, ito naman, x. So, ano yung greatest common monomial factor nila ng variable x? Okay. So, the greatest common monomial factor of the variable x is x. So, hindi siya pwedeng maging x squared and x cubed because hindi uubra yung x dahil ang exponent lang niya ay 1. So, the greatest common monomial factor of the variable x is only x. And then, for y variable naman, y squared, y cubed, and y squared. So, ang greatest common monomial factor nila is y squared. Therefore, the greatest common monomial factor of the given set of monomials is 6xy squared. Next, for the last example, we have 11a to the 4th power b cubed c, 33a cubed b squared c squared, and 44a cubed b cubed c squared. So, 11, 33, and 44, ang GCF nila is what? Correct, 11. Now, for the variable a, what is the greatest common monomial factor? That is a cubed. Again, hindi siya pwedeng maging a to the 4th. It's because 3 lang po ang degree ng dalawang term natin. Then, for b naman, b cubed, b squared, and b cubed. So, ano yung pinakamataas nila na common sa tatlong terms na to? That is b squared. And last one, we have c squared, and c squared. So, yung pinakamataas na common sa tatlo na to is only c. Therefore, the greatest common monomial factor of this given is 11a cubed b squared c. This is the final answer. So, let's now move on with the definition of factoring. So, when we say factoring is the process of finding the factors of an expression. It is the reverse process of special products. So, when you were in grade 7, so napag-aralan niyo niya yung special products. So, ito yung exact opposite niya. So, kaya kanina yung mga given activities is about factoring para at least meron kayong idea kung ano nga ba yung factoring na to. So, I have a question. Are all polynomials factorable? The answer is no. If a polynomial is not factorable, then we classify it as a prime or irreducible polynomial. So, mamaya, sa last part ng video lesson na ito, ipapakita ko sa inyo yung mga example ng polynomial na considered as prime or irreducible. Now, factoring of common monomial factor. So, this is the first type of factoring. So, here are the steps in factoring common monomial factor. First, we have to find the GCF or greatest common factor of the numerical coefficients of the polynomial. Second, then, divide each term of the polynomial by the GCF. So let's have the first example, 3a plus 12. So the first thing we need to do is to get the GCF. The greatest common factor of 3 and 12 is 3. And then, yung 3a plus 12 na to, i-divide natin siya dun sa greatest common factor. So 3a divided by 3, the answer is a. Plus 12 divided by 3 is 4. Therefore, this is the factored form of 3a plus 12. Now, paano natin malalaman kung tama o mali ang sagot? So, by checking, i-distribute natin yung 3 dun sa mga expression na nasa loob ng parenthesis. For example, 3 times a, 3 times 4. So, what is 3 times a? The answer is 3a plus 3 times 4, 12. Okay? So, kung makikita nyo, 3a plus 12, kamukha siya ng original given. So, therefore, tama ang ating sagot. Next, example number 2, we have 5n minus 20n. So, dito, pareho na silang may variable. However, magkaibang variable sila. Yung isa m, yung isa n. So, ano ang GCF ng 5 and 20? That is 5. Now, 5m minus 20n divided by 5. That is 5m divided by 5. That is only m. Minus 20n divided by 5. The answer is 4n. So, this is the factored form of 5m minus 20n. Again, we can check it. 5 times m is 5m. Minus 5 times 4 is 20n. So, nakuha natin yung original na given. So, this is the correct answer. Next, for example number 3, we have 4x cubed minus 28x. So, dito, pareho na silang variable x. So, hindi na lang yung numerical coefficient ang may common factor. So, let's start with 4 and 28. So, what is the greatest common factor of 4 and 28? 4. Correct. What about x cubed and x? The greatest common monomial factor is only x. Kasi, ang exponent lang kasi ng x na to is 1. Hindi pwedeng maging 3. So, therefore, the greatest common monomial factor of 4x cubed minus 28x is 4x. Now, to get the expression inside the parenthesis, we have to divide the whole expression by the common monomial factor. 4x cubed divided by 4x is x squared. Minus 28x divided by 4x, that is 7. So, balikan lang natin, paano naging tulang ito? So, yung law of exponent kasi, yung quotient rule, kapag dinidivide natin yung mga same expressions, nagsusubtract tayo sa kanilang exponent. So, kung ang exponent nito ay 3, exponent naman ng common monomial factor natin na x is 1, that is 3 minus 1, kaya naging x squared. So, this is the factored form of 4x cubed minus 28x. Again, to check, 4x times x squared is 4x cubed. 4x times negative 7 is negative 28x. So, kabaliktaran naman pag multiplication. So, kung ito, 1 ang exponent niya, minultiply natin sa x squared, mag-a-add tayo ng exponent. So, 1 plus 2, kaya naging 3. I hope it's clear. So, let's have example number 4. 6b cubed c squared minus 18b squared c cubed. So, the greatest common factor ng 6 and 18 is what? 6. What about b cubed and b squared? So, yung pinakamataas nila is b squared. Now, what about c? C squared and c cubed. C squared. Now, to get the remaining factors of this given expression, so i-divide natin yung kabuuan, ito, yung buo, to the common monomial factor, which is 6b squared c squared. 6 divided by 6 is 1. B cubed divided by b squared is b. C squared divided by c squared will be cancelled. Minus 18 divided by 6, that is 3. B squared divided by b squared is cancelled. C cubed divided by c squared is c. And so this is the factored form of 6b cubed c squared minus 18b squared c cubed. Now, example number 5. So, trinomial na siya. So, when we say trinomial na, yung given natin, a polynomial with 3 terms. 10p squared r minus 8pr squared plus 14p. So, ano ang GCF ng 10, 8, and 14? So, ang GCF nila is 2. While p, ang greatest common monomial factor nila is p lang. Okay, so, kasi, itong dalawang expression na to, ang exponent lang nila is 1. Okay, so, hindi pwede maging 2. I hope nagiging clear yon kung bakit p lang ang kinukuha. So, isipin nyo na lang, uubra ba yung p na to, na ang exponent lang na 1, dun sa p na ang exponent ay 2? Siyempre, hindi. While, for r squared, and then dun sa last term niya, wala tayong r. So, kapag ganon, hindi natin pwedeng sabihin na common yung variable r kasi wala naman pong r dito banda. Okay? So, ang common monomial factor lang ng given natin is 2p. Now, to get the remaining factors, again, you have to divide the trinomial, the whole trinomial, by the common monomial factor. 10 divided by 2 is 5. P squared divided by p, that is p. Next, r. So, copy lang natin. And then, 8 divided by 2 is 4. P divided by p is cancelled. And then, r squared, copy, plus 14 divided by 2, 7. P divided by p is cancelled. So, this is the factored form. Okay, so let's have number 6. Negative 6x squared plus 16y squared minus 4z squared. So, kung mapapansin nyo, yung first term natin, ang sign niya is negative. So, kapag ganito ang given natin, kailangan nating i-factor yung negative para maging positive. And then, kapag finactor natin yung negative na yun, lahat ng sign ng kasunod na terms niya ay magbabago din. Okay, what is the GCF of negative 6, 16, and negative 4? That is negative 2. Okay. What about x squared, y squared, and z squared? So, walang common factor yan kasi magkakaiba ng variable. So, our common monomial factor is only negative 2. Next, to get the remaining factors, we have to divide the whole expression by the common monomial factor. Negative 6x squared divided by negative 2, that will become 3x squared. So, kung mapapansin nyo, naging positive na siya. It's because negative divided by negative, that is positive. Next, 16y squared divided by negative 2, that is negative 8y squared. So, kung mapapansin nyo kanina, plus siya, naging negative. Why? Because positive divided by negative, that is negative. Last one. Negative 4z squared divided by negative 2. The answer is positive 2z squared. So, this is the factored form. So, let's have this last example. 20a cubed b squared c to the p power plus 35a to the 4th power b squared c cubed plus 10a squared bc to the 4th power. So, what is the GCF of 20, 35, and 10? So, the answer is 5. Now, what about for a cubed, a to the 4th power, and a squared? That is a squared. B squared, B squared, and B. So, B lang po siya. C to the fifth power, C cube, C to the fourth power. The answer is C cube. Yun yung pinaka greatest nila, pinakamataas na common sa tatlong terms na yun. Now, to get the remaining factors, divide the whole expression by the common monomial factor 5a squared bc cubed. 20 divided by 5, that is 4. A cubed divided by a squared, 3 minus 2, that is only a. B squared divided by b, 2 minus 1, b. C to the fifth power divided by c cubed, 5 minus 3, that is 2. Next, 35 divided by 5 is 7. A to the fourth power divided by a squared, that is 4 minus 2, a squared. B squared divided by b, 2 minus 1, the answer is b. C cubed divided by c cubed, that is cancelled. Plus 10a squared bc to the fourth power divided by 5a squared bc cubed. The answer is 2. For a squared, cancelled. B cancelled. C to the fourth power divided by c cubed is only c. So, ayan. And then, yung mga remaining factors niya, kung mapapansin nyo, wala nang common sa kanilang tatlo. So, kapag meron po kayo nakitang mga common factors pa, it means, hindi pa yon nakasimplify. So, for example, dito sa last term natin, dito sa 2c, kapag may nakita pa kayong b dito, kailangan pa rin natin i-factor out yung b. So, dahil dito, ito na yung final answer natin. Ito yung factored form ng given expression. Now, let's now move on to non-factorable polynomials. So, ito yung mga tinatawag nating prime polynomial or irreducible polynomials. So, paano natin masasabi na non-factorable sila? So, kapag ang greatest common factor lang nila is 1. For example, a plus 5. Okay. So, ano ang greatest common factor ng a plus 5? Ng a tsaka 5, only 1. So, therefore, this is a prime polynomial. What else? 2x minus 3. So, 2 and 3, ang greatest common factor nila is 1. So, this is also a prime polynomial. M squared minus n squared plus p squared. This is also a prime polynomial. It's because hindi natin mapafactor yung mga variable kasi magkakaiba. And then last example, 5x squared plus 7y cubed. Ayan. So, anong greatest common factor ng 5 and 7? 1. And x squared and y cubed, magkaibang variable. So, this is also a prime polynomial. So, kapag pinafactor natin, make sure na ang una natin kukunin is yung greatest common factor nila. Okay? So, what's next? So, ang next lesson natin, after natin i-discuss yung factoring of common monomial factor is factoring of difference of two squares.